Hello and welcome to another edition of TSL Talk. I'm joined by my colleague Adam Smith, who's very happy with himself today after giving Brett Jeeves a touch-up in Supercoach footy over the weekend. Adam, two clubs continue to dominate the TSL news. The fall of grace from GLENORCHY and Hobart's off-field worries, which are now affecting its on-field performance.
Yeah.
I suppose we better start with GLENORCHY. You're down there against, see them play against LAUDERDALE yesterday. They didn't even put up a yelp, belted by 89 points.
Look, it was everybody went into the game thinking that this could be the start of them turning their season around after a lacklustre 8 weeks. They brought their big guns back. Yes, a few of them hadn't played for a while, but look, they were smashed. There was no two ways about it. LAUDERDALE put on a clinic, and they just didn't have any answers. And they kicked 7 goals, 6 to a point in the second quarter. Play for the first 10 minutes was all in LAUDERDALE's half of the ground, and it was a complete smashing. And I don't see how they can recover, to be honest.
And Coach Byron Howard had some interesting comments to say after the game.
Yeah, he did. Look, he's a worried man, as you would be, I guess, with where they started from and where they're at now. And he's generally concerned, I think, about whether he's the right man for the job. I think he's starting to question his own ability. I mean, they've got the players appear on paper, look as though they get the job done, but he just can't get the most out of them at the moment. So I don't know whether it is the players, whether it's the coaching or what's going on behind the scenes. But he's in a bit of strife, I think, and whether he sees out the season, it might come to a head in the next couple of weeks.
Well, let's listen to what Byron had to say after the game.
The job, it's one that I've really enjoyed, but it's certainly I suppose the enjoyment has sort of waned a bit over the past few weeks with performances that we've been putting out there. So, the club certainly won't accept performances like this going forward. And like I said, the coaches are generally the first to go.
Do you still think you're the right man to try and lead the revival?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm really not sure. It's just really disappointing to turn up here today and the guys were really on at the start, and I don't know.
Do you think they can still make the finals?
No, I don't. We've looked at their draw, and I think the next 4 games they've got Clarence this week, which is you couldn't get in tougher ask, bouncing back, and given the draw of a couple of other sides, that they may not win a game for the rest of the year, and it'd just be a turnaround that I couldn't see coming.
And the positive news is terrific to see LAUDERDALE burst in the top 5 for the first time.
Yeah, and I'll probably have to apologise a bit to Darren Winner and the club. I didn't get too much about the performance in the report because it was all about GLENORCHY. But he's got them up and firing at the right time of the year, and I think they've got North Hobart after the break, a home game against South Launceston, and they finished the season off against Hobart. So they win 3 games, and they could even look up a home final and play the elimination final at home, which could see them go into the second week.
And I was up at the TCA on Saturday and saw BURNIE run over Hobart in the second half. I think they cruised to a 10-goal win in the end. But Graham Fox had some interesting comments after the game about the continued speculation about the club's future.
The thing that's been going on for the last 2 weeks, it's really starting to eat into us.
Yeah.
And us as a playing group and as a coaching group, we've just had a gut feel of it. And for the boys to do what they're doing at the moment, I've got nothing but praise for them.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's happening. We haven't got a clue what's happening to the future of the club. The playing group, the coaching group have not been told of anything.
Yeah.
And it's just started to eat into us. There's no excuse about getting beat the way we got beat today. But it's very hard to coach. And it's very hard for this team out here to not know what's going on.
It's obviously affecting them on field now. What do they do with the rest of the season? This speculation's only going to continue, and they've got to concentrate and hopefully get something out of the year.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know if you're going to have a home towards the end of the year, I guess it's pretty hard, isn't it? I mean, how the players can get themselves up each week. And try and perform to a level that Graham wants them to is really difficult. I was listening to a clip from the AFL on the weekend. Chris Grant was talking about when, I think it was Peter Road got sacked, and he saw out the year. He said it was the most difficult 6 weeks of his career because he knew he wasn't going to be there. So it's probably in a similar way. Obviously, Graham Fox not going or doesn't want to go, but the future of the club's in doubt. And if you're playing, not knowing if you're going to be around, where you're going to be in the competition or anything, it has to be difficult.
Yeah, and BURNIE continued to shine. They got Andy Lee up forward, who kicked 4 goals in the first half, and Jason Laycock, who just dominates the ruck. It's a good good way to start to build your team around.
Yeah, it is. Look, if you get two, AFL listed players or former AFL listed players sort of providing the spine of the team, you throw in Luke Shackleton who's there as well, and I saw a little bit early in the first half of Andy Lee, and he looked like he could kick 12 goals one day, the way he leads, and if he gets the right delivery. So, I guess you were there and you saw it all. He's Laycock, the dominant big man in the league.
Yeah, definitely. His hands at the stoppages, his tap work was just unbelievable. The only way Hobart could stop him, especially early in the game, was to give away a free kick, and he racked up the possessions. Speaking of goal kickers, Cameron Thurley continues on his merry way. Kicked 7 for Clarence against Devonport on the weekend. It's his second haul of 7 in a row. Not enough to get him in the votes, though, apparently.
No, we saw the media votes last night, and I'm a bit bemused by it all, really. He kicked 7 goals. He would have spent a fair bit of time in the midfield as well. He's been named second best for Clarence, and how he can't get a vote's a little bit beyond me. And there's a few whispers going around that the Northwest boys are trying to get Darren Banham over the line. So, but it is an interesting one. Look, he's. We touched on him last week. He's clearly in career best form, and he, if he played full forward for the year, he'd probably kick 100 as well, wouldn't he?
In North Launceston, we see them week in, week out. When they come up against the good teams, they're just not up to it, are they?
No, look, it's the same old story. You'd like to see a bit more fight, I guess, as well. They've kicked 4 goals, I think, haven't they? Launceston's beaten them by 10. It looks they probably won't make finals either, and if they do, they'll go out first of the league, as far as I'm concerned. Like, I know they've got a couple of easy games against the weaker sides up there, but they're a mid-range side that I don't know what can elevate them to that next level, and for a healthy competition, that's what we need.
North Hobart's quietly going about its business. They're a game clear in 5th spot now with Zeke Garden kicking 7 on the weekend.
Yeah, they were expected to get the job done, and they did. They probably could have won by a bit more, and I think they slipped down a position, did they, because of Lauderdale's big win. But again, they're just motoring along. There's so much else going on at the moment that you can sort of overlook that they are coming back into some form with a new coach, and they'll be thereabouts.
Adam, thanks for your thoughts, and remember, for all your TSL stories, pick up your copy of the Mercury or go to the Mercury online.